Hello, everyone. It's actually a sunny day. It's Easter. I'm a few days ahead of you. I just wanted to do a quick haul of things I picked up yesterday in Stockport. We had an impromptu afternoon out in Stockport, which is really nice. Stockport used to be the most depressing town centre in the world. It was like a kind of post apocalyptic version of Darlington, and bits of the precinct still are. Yesterday, they had actors dressed as chickens jumping up and down and giving chocolate to all these children and pounding music, and everybody was jumping up and down. And that was some kind of council run thing to keep the kids occupied. And there was one little girl, as it all kind of dwindled off, as I arrived in the precinct to go to Waterstones, one little girl zombified by sugar, and she was going, "You put your legs in, you put your legs out, you put your legs in," like she was stuck doing the hokey cokey forever. And town was full of these people. The fancy part of town is the underbank, as they call it. Uh, the Berlin of the North, as others are calling it. But there's a nice market, and we had pie and chips in the indoor market. We bought cakes from the new Polish cake stall. Jeremy thinks they're a bit uh, not the thing. I quite like them, I think. But it was fancy. Everything was nice. And we went to the shops in the underbank. You go trotting down all these steps, and there's a nice record shop, SK1 it's called, and Jeremy got a Tina Charles LP. I went to a new bookshop round the corner opposite my bank. My bank is this amazing 16th century um, half timbered building. It's this amazing. There's only one Nat West in 10 miles anywhere, and that's there because they've closed all the banks. They've left behind this one from the Middle Ages, the Renaissance. Anyway, the bookshop's opposite there, and it's called Greenhouse Books. And I popped in. I had a nice chat with Janet, who runs it, and they have pictures up, and they have a nice selection of old books. And I was given the hard sell of a book they published themselves. It's one of Dave Haslam's Art Decades books, where he describes a moment in popular culture. This one, as Janet told me, was about. It's brand new, I think, published yesterday, and it's about the time in 1980 when Grace Jones went to Stockport to record an LP at Strawberry Studios, just round the corner from where we were, which is always magic to me. The fact that this building where 10cc recorded, where Joy Division recorded, and it turns out Grace Jones too. So I had to. The publisher's called um, Confringo. I don't know how that's pronounced. I think that's how it's pronounced. Can you see? And I said, actually, I've bought two of these before from Bobcat Books on their anniversary of their opening event when I read at the Talleyrand pub in Levenshulme with Dave Haslam. Dave Haslam's a Manchester DJ, a very famous one, but he also writes these books about popular culture. And that night, Bobcat Books put both me and him on. I read from my cat book, and he read from his Sylvia Plath book, Sylvia Plath in Paris. We had a very nice night. It was last November, and Jeremy DJ'd afterwards. And so I was telling Janet about the fact that we did that, and we talked about Bobcat Books and about Ian and Susie at Bobcat Books, and we talked about my paintings and my books. So it was a very nice little chat we had, and it was nice to have another new bookshop near us. I'm still looking for a local-ish indie bookshop that I can adopt and make mine. I want to not buy books from Amazon and not buy books from Waterstones. I want to buy them from an indie bookshop who will order things in and be my um, special bookshop. I read about Americans doing that, and it just sounds so nice. Anyway, so I've got my eye on Greenhouse Books. Um, then I went to Waterstones because I have a book voucher still that I had to spend, and I did, and I got the new Tales of the City by Armistead Maupin. Mona of the Manor, which I've been looking forward to for about a year since it was first announced. It's a bit skimpy, I have to say. It's only over 200 pages and very sparsely laid out. It's a flashback story to that bit where Mona vanishes to England to become Lady of the Manor. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll. It doesn't matter. I won't prejudge it. I'll just enjoy it for what it is and enjoy his dialogue. What else? There's a pop up second-hand shop and remainder shop in the precinct there that's just there for a month. Everything's £1 or £2. Who knew there were Scooby Doo novels? Velma and Daphne, or Daphne and Velma and the Vanishing Girl, an original novel by Josephine Ruby. Jeremy says, what's the point of a Scooby Doo novel with no Scooby Doo? He'd better be in it. But it's the two girls. Jeremy says it looks a bit lesbian. And it probably is. I hope it's better than I read an adult gothic detective novel that was a kind of Scooby Doo. It chimed off Scooby Doo, and I forget what it was called a few years ago, and I really didn't like it. I thought it was Lovecraftian as well, and you think the combination should be irresistibly fantastic, but it wasn't. It was dreary and dark and gritty and all of those things. This looks fun to me, and it's scholastic. So, why wasn't there always Scooby Doo novels about all the characters, like the Dark Shadows novels? In fact, why weren't there novelizations or original novels about all the Hanna-Barbera characters, Snagglepuss and his adventures? I would have read all of those. The Flintstones. Right, and then I'd been to the fancy retro junk shops near the marketplace, and in those places they had penguins from the 50s and 60s, and they were all like £12. I went to this pop-up shop, and everything was £1 just about on the old paperback stall. Look at that, Rosemary's Baby, one of the most perfect novels I know. I've got a nice hardback copy of it that I bought many years ago in America. But this is a pan copy with the photographic cover. You can never have too many Rosemary's Babies. Or John Wyndham, there's a photographic copy. Or a film tie-in copy of The Midwich Cuckoos. Children of the Damned, it was called, the movie. A perfect movie and a perfect book, I think. This is the one where the English village, everyone falls asleep as spaceships pass over one night. And when they wake up, all the women are pregnant. And all the women give birth to these kind of Aryan, creepy children with glowing eyes and white hair. Kind of Boris Johnson children who then want to take over the world. A very creepy novel. All of Wyndham's books of that era were brilliant. And the 70s copies had fantastic, spooky covers. And us 70s kids devoured them. Chrysalids, Chucky, Day of the Triffids, Kraken Wakes, Web, Midwich Cuckoos, Trouble with Lichen. And there were short stories as well. All of it was brilliant stuff. Right, they were the books. I also went to those, as I said, those junk shops, the retro junk shops, where there's all sorts of wonderful stuff on sale, including original sketches and drawings. And there was a pile of life drawings by John Ford, or Ford, Foord, all by the same fella. And they were £15 each on this old drawing paper. This is from the 80s. And this charcoal drawing of this sexy fella, which I will get framed nicely. I was so pleased. I'd never heard of the artist before. And I talked to the woman whose shop it was, and she was telling me that he was a lecturer, if not the head of department of art in at Manchester Uni, and for many years. And she and the woman she runs her stall with used to be in a different place, and they championed him a number of years ago and put on this exhibition of his work, his paintings. And he was towards the end of his life then, but it was in time for him to attend his own exhibition, and there he was, and he got to see it, and she showed me the poster, which was beautiful. This painting of a fella in green. So I was pleased. 15 quid for somebody's work like that. It looks like a quick study, maybe when demonstrating proportions to a class of people in a life drawing class. That's what it looks like to me. There's actually kind of mistakes in it, but it's got life to it. It's sexy. The thighs are too big. The feet are kind of oddly placed, but it doesn't matter to me at all. I think it's magic to get something that's a complete one-off like that. Anyway, that was my shopping yesterday. Slightly extravagant. No, I wasn't even intending to leave the house. I also ended up buying online from eBay a biography, a new biography of Leonora Carrington, because of course, late last night, eating sweets and watching telly, I watched a BBC Four documentary about Leonora Carrington, the lost surrealist who went to Mexico and never came back. And there's a new biography by a reporter who is related to her, who, when she found out they were related, went to Mexico and met her and stayed with her at the end of her life and wrote a book about it. So, of course, I had to buy that. So it was a bit of an expensive day, all in all. Art, monographs, novelizations, no, movie tie-ins rather than novelizations, because both those books came first, didn't they? Rosemary's Baby and Children of the Damned came first. Armistead Maupin and cakes. It was a good day. Anyway, I shall stop there, and I will encourage you to go and subscribe to my Patreon, to press like, to subscribe to this, and to leave comments below. How was your Saturday? How have all your days been since the last time I saw you? I hope you're reading happily and that you're enjoying the coming of the spring. Okay, goodbye. See you again soon.